So there's this alleged problem that atheists have concerning the existence of God, and that is the alleged problem of evil. In a world with children dying of cancer, with wars, famine, and disease, how is it that a loving God can exist in the midst of so much evil? When I hear this sort of stuff from atheists, there's plenty of things I want to say to them, but due to the nature of this channel, I'm going to respond to this so-called problem of evil by using the anime Vinland Saga to make my point. For those of you who haven't watched it, I am going to offer a lot of spoilers, so please do be warned. The story follows this kid, Thorfinn, who really wants to explore the outside world. Like, he's been living in this small Icelandic village for all of his life, so when his dad gets an invitation to go to mainland Europe, Thorfinn takes the opportunity to go with him to explore the rest of the world. However, his perception of the outside world being something filled with the glory of war and the fun of adventure is something that is completely shattered. He faces this reality that the world outside of Iceland is actually filled with so much evil, something that he's so incredibly aware of with the death of his dad at the hands of Viking mercenaries. How does the atheist worldview respond to this situation? Of course, Vinland Saga is a fictional text, but you cannot deny that this exact situation in which the fathers of families are killed as a consequence of war and conflict has certainly happened in the past, and of course continues to happen today. An atheist might tell you that he doesn't believe in anything, that there's no one atheist answer to this, so I guess you just gotta figure it out by yourself. Atheism doesn't provide a sufficient story because the story that they offer is that you are responsible for how you respond in this moment. So Thorfinn, being a child, resorts to his most basic desires, to lean into rage and anger and malice, and he spends the majority of his childhood life on his quest for revenge in order to kill the guy who had killed his father. Now, if at any point that if you are an actual atheist watching this video, please let me know if I'm misrepresenting your worldview in any way whatsoever. Please let me know in the comments, but just so you know, this is my impression of you guys as you angrily type online. The atheist ideology is one which stands for one thing, and that is to believe in nothing, but in doing so has the capacity to believe in so many other things, so many other stories, to the point that it can't build up a proper meta-narrative by itself in order to respond to the existence of evil in the first place. So Thorfinn's response here to evil in trying to get revenge is just as much a justified response under atheism than any other response that you guys might offer me below. Thorfinn does just that in this story, joining this gang of mercenaries so that he can train with them and fight with them in order to build up his skill so that he is able to learn how to kill this guy. We continue throughout Vinland Saga, and on Thorfinn's adventures across the North Sea, we see even more evil conducted as the Vikings murder and plunder through England's coastal cities. We meet the old woman who grants grace upon Thorfinn by welcoming him to her home, only for Thorfinn to betray that grace as she is killed by the Vikings that Thorfinn was working with. We see the young girl who by sheer chance escapes her village just before the Vikings absolutely massacre all of her friends and family. We see in this anime the impact of conquest as people are enslaved and separated from their loved ones and sent to far off places all over Europe. We see mothers and fathers and daughters and sons all killed as a result of these Viking raids, which is not too dissimilar to what we see today around the world in Russia and Ukraine, in the Middle East, and in the Congo, in plenty of other places where injustice is being perpetrated. What does the atheist say in light of all of this evil? In these scenarios, from what I've heard from atheists, is that they come up with a story which is deficient in dealing with the existence of evil in our world. What does the atheist have to say to a guy like Thorfinn that by the start of the second season, he's just lost all ambition and hope? What story are you going to tell him? That it's just going to be okay, or you just have to deal with it? I know you've killed a lot of people, I know you haven't really had much of a childhood, and I know your dad died and his murderer still went around unpunished until the king of Denmark executed him, and I know the whole purpose of your life was to be the guy to kill your father's murderer, but hey, I guess you're free from the shackles of religion and you're a free-thinking man, so why don't you make your own meaning as per the atheist worldview? For a guy like Thorfinn, who's experienced a heck of a lot of emotional trauma, what does the atheist say when Thorfinn decides that his meaning is to just die on the spot because living, according to him, is a notion synonymous with suffering. You know, I do apologize if I'm bashing atheists too harshly, but I really want to emphasize that this ideology is really bad at telling stories, and stories are the only way to rationalize the stuff that's happening around us and influences our response to that stuff. In my view, to be atheist or to possess faith in Jesus Christ are simply two different ways of responding to the existence of evil. It's not that the so-called problem of evil disproves Christianity, because this alleged problem still exists for the atheist worldview. They still have to provide some kind of response to evil being perpetrated around us, and it's usually to the detriment of the people who hold a worldview which is not influenced by God. So again, I do ask of our atheist viewers, what are the stories that you guys tell to yourselves in order to rationalize the existence of evil in our world? And as you do that, I'll tell you the story that Christianity tells, and funnily enough, part of that story is told in this anime. When we meet back up with Thorfinn in season 2, he's grown up a bit more and is trying to seek purpose and meaning and a story to tell himself which rationalizes his childhood experience. He's ended up as a slave on this property here, and we see in episode 13 him listening in to a reading of the Bible passage. Now, I'm not sure if Thorfinn is meant to be a Christian in Vinland Saga, but we can see here, even if we were to grant the atheist premise that the Bible is a fairy tale, it's actually a bloody good fairy tale at that, because it provides Thorfinn a way to respond to the existence of evil for which he is faced. The Bible passage read in this anime is Matthew chapter 5 verses 43 to 48. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. That's the story that is offered by Christianity. It offers us this response that people are able to use in regard to evil. Like, I don't know what kind of suffering that you have gone through, but I can say for certain that the Christian story actually offers this great love and forgiveness for which atheists can also adopt. Atheists can also adopt this story, but Christianity also provides this God who not only is the source of this love and forgiveness, but he's a God who desires for us to be in right relationship with him. The love which is preached in this passage is the beautiful and overflowing love for which God offers us. And you know why it's so amazing that Jesus teaches this? It's because Jesus is God, and if Jesus is God, then that's amazing news for us. It's because in our sin, we have made ourselves enemies with God. By living sinful lives, we deserve righteous punishment for what we've done. So for God to say that his love is not only for his neighbor, but his love is also for his enemy, it's such a comforting thing for me to know and comprehend that despite me being evil, God reaches out to me, and all I gotta do is to accept that love and come to him in repentance. That's my response to the alleged problem of evil. Atheism and Christianity are both worldviews which simply offer different perspectives and solutions to the existence of evil in our world. Atheism is the worldview which refuses to acknowledge God and focuses on the self. It focuses on a message of woe is me, but the solution that Christianity provides is one which primarily responds to evil with love. So you're free to be an atheist and continue to lament and anger at all the evil which exists in the world and just be forced to accept evil as a fact of reality. But I am compelled by the story told by Christianity, which offers this love and this hope, which is a far better worldview than atheism to me could ever offer. If you're interested more in my story and how anime helped me develop a relationship with God, I've got this video here on how Bocce the Rock led me closer to Christ.